nothing about art. We don't know anything about keeping this organization going, but if we do this, will you stay? And I said, of course I'll stay. This is my heart. Of course I'll stay. And they said, but we can't pay you. Okay, that was putting it on the line, but we can't. And I went home and I talked to Roger and he says, oh, what the hell, do it. So for about, I'm gonna say Roger and Van, who was Donna's husband, said our first paycheck, they would take us out to eat. And I think it was a year before they could pay us. Pay me, they didn't pay her ever until she was a woodworker. But they took us out to eat at a really nice restaurant, and believe me, the paycheck that I had didn't even pay for the hors d'oeuvres. I think the paycheck was $20. And I could pay myself because of a donor in Cincinnati. Okay, now you have to understand, when I went on our own, I got a board of directors and they said, you're executive director. And I said, I don't know how to be an executive director. I'm an artist. I like to work with people. I care about people. I love people. I like to work with people. I don't like to work with books. I don't like to work with money. I don't even know how to make a budget. I don't know how to write a grant. I don't know how to do any of that kind of stuff. And they said, you'll figure it out. We know you'll figure it out. You have to understand what I'm saying underneath all this. This program is God's program. It would never have gotten off the ground floor if it had not been God's program. God wanted this to work. He loves his people. He loves all of you because you work with those people. He keeps this program in existence because he loves what we're doing. And as long as I was true to that mission, and believe me, in my heart, that was every single day. I would pray coming in here, and I'd pray going home saying, oh my God, you got to keep these doors open. You have to keep us here for these people. Look who we're helping. You got to help us. Brenda can tell you, every time I did a budget, I went, holy, I don't know how I'm going to make that much money this year. As the years went on, that budget got higher and higher. There was more staff here. There was more clients I had to serve. There was more art stuff I had to buy. We were going into more stuff. How am I going to do this? It was just nightmare. And then I turn it over and say, okay, God, work it out. And I worked hard, don't get me wrong. I had to work hard. I had to put in the time. I had to reach out to all kinds of people all the time for money, something I don't like to do. Okay, but it was something I had to do for all the people we serve. And because I had to do it and I believed in my service, what we were doing here, I could ask. I could ask for those grants, find those people, and I still have lifelong friends with those people who ran those foundations because I made personal relationships with them, and that's what you all have to do. You have to build your personal relationships by telling them what you're doing. You tell them about the people you're serving. You tell them about the lives that you're changing. And you asked me to tell you just a couple personal stories. You're going to have to stand up when I go too long, like we did to you at Optimist. Okay, because I can talk for a long time. Brenda can tell you. When I start talking about this program, I can talk for a long time. One of the first things, there was a lady who lived in a nurse, and I think this was one of the first times we started giving money back. And we were writing out checks, and at that time we would even write checks for $1 because sometimes it would take 3 months for them to make something that we could sell, and it would be $1 or $1.50 when the thing was sold. And she came running in here that day, waving her check. I got a check, I got a check, I got a check. And I said, I'm so happy for you. How much was it? I think it was $5. And she was so excited. So I knew the giving back of the money for the sale of the item was very important. It built self-esteem, it gave self-pride. And that's why we always kept the money part. People over the years, they wanted to stop that. Okay, and I never wanted to stop that because to me, that is very, very, very important. We had a client here that was a young girl who, on her way, she was perfectly fine. She had 2 beautiful little girls. She lived in Atlanta. She was on her way to work one morning. She was driving a car. She had a horrendous headache. over and called an ambulance. They took her to the hospital and she had an aneurysm. They did surgery, but what it did is it left her very disabled. She couldn't talk, she couldn't use her hand, her right hand again. She lost her ability to really think about a project from A to B and finish things. She was very smart, but she had lost all that. They did all the stuff they could for her in Atlanta and sent her back here to Dayton to where her mom was to help her raise her girls. Her Miami Valley Hospital sent her to us, their head injury program. She started with making tiny little boxes. She loved to make boxes. From these little, and she used all kinds of really pretty paper. Then she started designing her own paper, and she'd paint the paper, and she did this all with her left hand. Then she made little boxes, and we sold those boxes. We really did. We just sold little paper boxes. Then she started making jewelry, and she put the jewelry in the boxes. Okay, when we sold the boxes and the jewelry, she got to the point where she really was helping her girls with Girl Scouts. She got enough confidence in herself just by making little tiny boxes and coming in here and being told she can do it. It just takes time. You can do it. You can walk from here to there. You can think of things. We just need to do it. She did that. She went to college. She graduated in marketing, and she came in here and she spoke to one of our donor nights, and there was not a dry eye in the place because she said how it gave her life back, but not only her, it gave her girls her mother back, which meant we served 3 people. Her mom spoke also how we changed her life. So just by giving, and she was in here for 3 years. It didn't happen in a week. It happened over a long period of time. We never got a dime for serving her. Okay? Did you understand it was God's plan that she was here? And somehow those dollars came in. Okay, I was always thankful at the end of the year. On the money issue, there was one time here, and I didn't have any money for payroll. I could not pay payroll, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I was here late at night. It was like 10 o'clock at night. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I was back to praying. And I came down from my office, and I remember I was right there. I got down on my knees, and I said, God, help me. How am I going to do this? The phone rang. It was Dayton Foundation. Crossway Fund just found out about us and wanted to give us $10,000. That paid salary for a long time for us. God hears our prayers with this program. So I can go on about a bunch of other clients over the years. We grew from just taking people, when we moved into this place, I think we most probably served 30.
Maybe.
And our budget was $35,000. When I left, we were serving 1,000 to 2,000 people. We were serving school systems that we weren't serving before. We went into hospitals because they called and we had never done that before. We opened our doors to every mental health, every physical therapist in town that needed us. And, they did have to refer people. We found ways to make that budget work through state. This was very foreign to me that I was able to, with God's help, figure it all out. And with Brenda, and my board of directors. I had fantastic board of directors who I'd put somebody on the board who knew how to write a grant. So they could come in and teach me how to write a grant. I never did do it because let me tell you, one thing that God did not give me was where to put a period and where to put a preposition. And where I don't even care about those things, okay? They could just let me talk. I'd be fine. But don't ask me to write it down. I'm just no good. But they found me Chris Corba, who loved this program, who liked to write. Okay? I couldn't do a budget to save my life. I didn't even know where to put the numbers, but he gave me Ed Kimmick, who's on our board now. Ed has, without a doubt, the most calming voice and ability to teach me where to put numbers. Not only him, my brother passed away, but my sister-in-law goes and marries an accountant who comes in and calmly I don't hold what I think we need to go. I don't know. I open the doors. God will send us. God will do what we need to do. He will send the people. We just need to be listening to those challenges in our community, and where there's a challenge and we think we can fit it, do it. What I want all of you to do more than anything else is to love those clients that come to you every single solitary day. I know you all have paperwork now. God, I hated it too. I hated counting those damn hours, Sharon. I was just like you, honey. But we had to count those hours in order to show that we were doing something. Okay? We have to count the numbers. You have to do your paperwork. If you don't do your paperwork, you're not going to get funded. Then you can't serve. So I want you to serve. I want you to love those people that come in here. Believe me, when you come in that door, ask God to help you.
Okay. Thank you.